Hello and a warm welcome to you on this edition of Business Africa. I am Afalake Oinloye. The top stories this week. Ugandan vanilla farmer harmed themselves to protect lucrative crop. Superfood smoothies make Africa's baobab tree big business. And Somali brothers invest in dairy farm to meet local demand for fresh milk. Uganda, the world's fourth biggest vanilla exporter, is boosting output to benefit from prices for the flavoring that is more valuable than silver, and a rise in global demand have forced growers to hire armed guards to deter thieves. Madagascar leads in vanilla export with 1,600 tons per year. It is estimated that Ugandan output would diversify global supplies and see farmers of some of the world's potentially best beans reap as much as $600,000 per ton.
Rising prices of vanilla on the global market have become a threat to farmers in Uganda rather than a blessing. Armed thieves besiege farms to steal vanilla pods and are later sold off to unscrupulous brokers. Farmers in Kasese in the country's west are forced to arm themselves or hire security guards to deter vanilla hunters.
Vanilla mala miezi mwenda.
Vanilla matures after 9 months. We're forced to sleeplessly guarded both day and night, even if there are mosquitoes biting us. We'd like the government to provide proper regulations for the sale of vanilla because all this illegal trade by foreigners is under the government's watch. Processed vanilla fetches about $600 on the international market as demand for natural rather than synthetic vanilla grows.
We look at close to 100 farmers that have lost their lives. Some of them lose their lives when they are heading to steal the vanilla, and because the vanilla fields are protected by maybe armed guards, other locally armed people with spears and guns, then they end up maybe spearing the person within the field.
The alertness of the police and their guards, of the families, especially during these peak seasons, is high to deter the occurrences of the thefts, but also of the people taking the law into their hands to murder those they suspect to be involved in the search.
Uganda produces about 150 metric tons of processed vanilla annually, most of which is sold in the United States, India, and the United Kingdom. A kilo of unprocessed vanilla sells for about $67 locally.
Ronald Kato, Africanews journalist, is with us on set for more on that report. Welcome to the show. Good to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Afalake.
Now, Ronald, you're Ugandan and you've reported the agricultural sector for several years. To start up with, let's know more about the vanilla export.
Afalake, vanilla is one of Uganda's most important cash crops. The crop has supported tens of thousands of families in Uganda for many years, and it has seen renewed interest since 2015. The last time it had this much interest was about 15 years ago, when prices on the international market and at the farms in Uganda were really good. Vanilla prices in Uganda now, at the farm price is about $70. That's a lot of money for Ugandan farmers, and a kilo is at $600 on the international market. So there's lots of interest in the crop at the moment. The Uganda Export Promotions Board, the Ugandan government agency in charge of promoting exports, is targeting to export 100 metric tons of the crop this year, away from the 75 metric tons they exported last year. So it goes to show you how much interest has returned to the crop since the fall of the world prices in 2006, that so many farmers in Uganda cut down their plantations in protest, in frustration.
Ronald, thefts have been a major issue. Now that the sector is becoming more lucrative, what has been done to curb the situation? How is the government involved?
I feel like every time there is a bumper vanilla harvest in Uganda and good prices, theft becomes an important issue, and it doesn't just affect the profit margins of Uganda's vanilla farmers, but it also tarnishes the image of Uganda's vanilla beans on the international market. But what Uganda police is doing is to increase the food patrols in the villages and plantations where vanilla is grown. The vanilla farmers, too, are working to hire private security services to secure their vanilla crop. Those that are united in cooperatives or groups are contracting private security as groups to secure their farmers. The police is also working with vanilla farmers to form what they call community policing groups, and these offer patrol services overnight to make sure that crime doesn't take over the vanilla farms.
Vanilla isn't a major cash crop in Uganda, but what has been done to increase the acreage of that in the country?
Well, the Ugandan government, Afolaki, has been, focusing a lot of its efforts on coffee. Coffee remains Uganda's most important crop. It's Uganda's leading foreign exchange earner, and you really can't blame the government. Much of the efforts to promote the crop of vanilla in Uganda are private sector-led, not much government involvement there. But this year, government, put in a bit of an effort. They attracted an investor, DTPL, who is investing in vanilla value addition. And it's an important thing to do. Uganda is 112 districts, but vanilla is only grown in about 7 districts. And it can virtually grow anywhere in the country. So I think what the government has to do is to get more Ugandans interested in the crop. Uganda is only 4th on the continent and 12th in the world. I think we can become number 1 if we focus more efforts to get more people interested in the crop.
Well, thank you very much for those insights.
Thank you.
Until recently, baobab were only tapped for local use, but in a major business shift, a small network of producers and suppliers have pushed the fruit profile abroad. More details coming right after this break. Stay with us.